y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the Sweet Dreams collection that's available right now from Daze Cosmetics. These were sent to me for review and I'll go ahead and leave that storefront right down below if you're interested in shopping. These are available right now, so hop on over and check them out. So I'm going to begin the swatches today. We're going to work from lightest to darkest. So first up is a Daydream, and this one is described as an off-white jelly with pink to gold to green shifting shimmer and hollow silver micro flaky. So there it is in the bottle, super ethereal and gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and show you today how it's swatched for me on my natural nails. So here is a look at that first easy coat. This one is quite sheer. It is in that jelly base, and I think it would work wonderfully as a topper over pretty much any color. I think because the base is a little bit lighter, that shimmer is a little bit more subtle on the nail. So if you wanted to go over something darker, I think that would be a totally bomb. So here's a look at that second coat. It is going to build up some of that opacity and add more holographic flakies to the nail. It's not completely opaque though, so I am going to go ahead and go in for a third and final coat for today. 3 coats puts this one right on the edge of being completely opaque. It does make for a really clean and classy look, but I did still have a little bit of visible nail line peeking through. So here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. And then here's a quick view from a different angle with the bottle. So kind of bright and clean. It feels very like uniquely bridal. This is my final swatch photo at an angle. And we're going to move on to a little bit of a deeper shade. So this is a Lullaby, and it's described as a light gray jelly with a pink to gold to orange shifting shimmer, as well as those hollow silver micro flakies. So I am like obsessed with this one in the bottle. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like today on my natural nail. This one is a little bit sheer as well. It is in that jelly base, so it's definitely one you're going to want to build up. One coat went on nice and easy, really smooth, just quite sheer. I think because these are jelly bases and because the formula is a little bit more on the thin side, I don't recommend going in thick with these. I did find I had a little bit of pooling, but the most amazing thing about them is that they dry down so quickly. When I was doing just a 4-finger swatch, by the time I got to my 4th finger, the first finger was ready for the next coat. So super impressed with that. Here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same artificial lighting. So we're going to brighten things up a little bit. Next up is Slumber Party. This one is described as a peachy bubblegum pink jelly with a gold to green to blue shifting shimmer and hollow silver micro flaky. So again, super awesome in the bottle. I'm going to go ahead and show you how that's swatched today for me on my natural nail. So here is a look at that first easy coat. These are, again, in that jelly base, so they are going to start out a little bit sheer with a good amount of visible nail line peeking through. I'm going to go ahead, complete this coat, and then show you how it builds up for me with a second. So I feel like this is very in right now and on trend. Everyone is doing these jelly nails where you can kind of see a peak of the natural nail line underneath. So 2 coats is going to add a little bit of depth and a ton more of that shimmer. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it builds up for me with a third and a final coat for today. I feel like the shimmer on this one is super strong, kind of offsets any visible nail line. Really impressed with this color combination. So here is a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. And then here is a quick view from a different angle with the bottle. And again, this is my final swatch photo. So even a little bit brighter now. This one is called Lucid. It's described as a coral jelly with a purple to pink to blue shifting shimmer and those hollow silver micro flakies that run throughout this entire collection. I feel like this one is going to be an absolute stunner in direct sunlight. I'm kind of lamenting that I did not get these out underneath like the sun, because I know that holographic would really come through, as well as that shimmer. The shimmer on my swatches tends to be a little bit subtle and understated. It's kind of hard to catch underneath that artificial lighting. So here is a look at that first and the second coat of Lucid. I am going to build it up with a third and final coat for today. Again, 3 coats is right on the edge of being opaque. I do still have a good amount of visible nail line. I do have rather strong visible nail lines though, so if you have shorter nails or not as harsh of lines, you may not have to worry about that as much. But here is a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting, and then once more from a different angle with the bottle. Really loving this. It really made my skin tan, which is hard to do. So next up, we're going to move on to some greens. This is a Nirvana, and I love it for the name alone, but it's described as an aquamarine green jelly with orange to gold to green shifting shimmer, as well as that hollow silver micro flakies. So in the bottle, super stunning. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first easy coat. Again, quite sheer. Don't go in too thick. You're going to have some pooling and some issues, and these dry down quick enough that you don't have to worry about having to build these up a little bit. So here's a look at that second coat. Again, it adds a little bit more depth, a ton more of those flakies and shimmer. It's not completely opaque though, so I'm going to let it dry down and then show you how it built up for me with a third and final coat. For this one personally, if I was going to wear it like out and about, I would definitely go in for that fourth coat just to add a little bit more opacity. But here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting, and then really quickly from a different angle with the bottle. This is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same lighting. So next up is my absolute top pick of the collection. This one is called Dreamland. So it's described as a periwinkle blue jelly with a pink to gold to orange shifting shimmer and hollow silver micro flakies. In the bottle there is like exactly what you get on the nail. Super, super gorgeous. I love this color combination. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. So again, this first coat, like, I'm sorry you guys, it's like a little bit repetitive, but this first coat is pretty sheer. I'm going to let it dry down and then show you how it built up for me with a quick second coat. 2 coats does add a little bit more pigment to the nail as well as some depth. So not completely opaque though, so I am going to let this dry and then come back in for a third and a final coat for today. Again, 3 coats, it's going to be down to really personal preference. If you want to stop at 3, which I typically do, I don't do more than 3 coats. It's a really soft and ethereal, but a good amount of visible nail line. If you wanted to take the time to go in for that 4th coat, I think that this would really push it right over the edge. So here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. And then this is my final swatch photo. I'm going to finish it off today with a fantasy. So this polish is described as a lavender jelly with a pink to gold to green shifting shimmer and hollow silver micro flakies. Super, super soft and sweet. I think this is so appropriate for spring. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail in just a second. So here's a look at that first coat. This one seems like it had a ton of the shimmer in there, or I got a lot of it on the nail just in that first coat. Really, really soft and pretty. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry down and show you how it built up with the second. Again, 2 coats is going to add a little bit more depth, but I do still have a good amount of visible nail line, so it definitely needs a third and possibly a 4th. So here's a look at that third. No, is this third? Yeah, the 3rd coat and final one for me today. So here's a look at that completed mani. I had 3 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting, and then really quickly from a different angle with the bottle, trying to show off a little bit of that shimmer shift there, but not really capturing it as gorgeous as it is in person. And then this is my final swatch photo at an angle underneath that artificial lighting. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the Sweet Dreams collection. These are again available right now. Check out that website down below. They will retail for $12.50 each. If you'd like to see more, you can also follow me on Instagram at Sloppy Swatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.